All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Omeasoo with Fighter Fit X, and you are with the Fall in Love with Fitness Summit series. We have introducing Louise here. Louise Lee, coaching and consulting. Our next speaker is someone who truly understands the power of leadership and communication. Louise is an award winning coach, widely recognized as one of the top 15 coaches in Vancouver, one of the 8 best career coaches, and the #1 best rated life coach in the city. Let's get some like fireworks on that one because that is amazing. And she has built an incredible track record helping leaders sharpen their skills, clarify their vision, and show up as their best selves. Her coaching is about transformation, not just in the workplace, but in how we communicate, set boundaries, and create healthier environments around us. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Ryan. What a lovely welcome. And thank you for inviting me to be part of your summit. So, as Ryan mentioned, I'm Louise and I'm a leadership and life coach. And I help people just like you strengthen how they show up at work, in their relationships, and in their lives, not by becoming louder, by becoming clearer. So, Ryan, I know that you work with a lot of people in the fitness world, and you're a wonderful personal trainer. I've read the reviews. So, for the people listening today, you know how you train your body to get stronger and faster and more resilient? Most people never learn to train their voice or their boundaries in the same way. And it shows up everywhere in your workplace, in your partnerships, in your family, and especially in how you actually treat yourself. So, what I do with my clients is I love to use this metaphor, Ryan, and I hope you like it too, and your listeners, which is you know how Ryan is an amazing personal trainer for your body? I am your personal trainer for your mind. So Ryan challenges your physical ability, your strength, your resilience, your flexibility, your mobility. I challenge your thoughts, the quality of your thinking. Because when you think better, you start to see things differently. And when you see things differently, you start to come to better conclusions and make better decisions that lead to different results. So this session and all of my coaching sessions with my clients are a kind of mindset workout because how we speak and how we say no and how we honor our own limits, those are muscles too. So we can start with this. Your physical training gives you a way to face discomfort, to push through resistance and to build that strength, not just through the training, but also through recovery. So let's talk about fitness in terms of boundaries, because boundaries are the same. They're not walls. I think people think of boundaries as potentially a negative thing. Oh, I'm putting up a wall, Louise. I'm creating separation between me and someone else. But boundaries, don't think of boundaries as walls. Think of boundaries as your recovery tools. Just like Ryan might give you some homework on how to maximize your performance by maximizing your recovery, boundaries can be the same for you on a personal, emotional, and mental sense. So think of boundaries not as walls, but they're your recovery tools. They protect your energy, they protect your focus, they protect your mental health, but also your emotional health, as well as spiritual health, maybe even your financial health. Maybe you feel as though you might need some boundaries around your financial health. But just like muscles, when you are in the gym, these muscles, such as your boundaries, they need reps, they need the repetitions as well. Because when we say yes to things that deplete us, when we overextend to keep everyone else happy, we're not actually being generous. When I speak to a lot of clients, they say, well, Louise, I love helping people. I love being there for them. I love helping them solve their problems. And I'm saying, that's great, but at what cost? So we may think we're being generous when we're overextending or saying yes to things that deplete us, but we're not. What we're actually doing is we're eroding our own stability. So here's one thing, if you're listening to this, to ask yourself, which is, if you tracked your boundaries like you tracked your workouts, or like you're tracking your macros, what would you see? What would you notice? So let me just pause there, Ryan. Is there anything you want to say here?
No, it's beautifully said, for sure. Be like how to track, and of course, with the fitness and the boundaries and having it as a recovery, and as coaches, as personal trainers, as leadership coaches, development coaches, and your clients, what they see, you want to give and give and give, and you love helping. Like I was looking back, and I see that, and at what cost, and coming forward for for the new chapter of Fighter Fit X. A new book, a new series is, I definitely want to have focusing on myself as well, but of course helping clients and helping a broader reach as well too. And looking back, that's what kind of helped me establish boundaries to myself. And you know what? It's been 15 years. I gotta start thinking of myself. I can't wait. I'm turning 43 on October 22nd, the date of our summit here, and I want kids. I want kids. I want dogs. I want parrots. I want the whole family stuff. And it just like I just gave so much to my personal training, which I obviously love. But now, like you're saying, at what cost? I definitely have to have. I got to start thinking like, what about Ryan? What about me? But totally love what you're saying here. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ryan. And I love how you shared something quite personal to you. And if you're listening to this, what Ryan just shared shows us that you can have more than one aspect of your life flourish. So Ryan has a successful business, as we all know, as a personal trainer and a fitness expert. Now he's talking about looking at other aspects of his life. He wants a family, he wants kids, he wants a dog, he wants to build and nurture those aspects now. And I'm here to tell you, if you're listening, that you can do the same. One of the keys is what we've just been talking about, which is boundaries. It could be that if you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, my physical health is great, but my financial health, not so much, then let's have a look. What boundaries might we need to set, or maybe even just tighten, to allow the financial aspect of your life to flourish just like your physical aspect of your life has flourished? So those are the kind of things that I look at and talk to and coach through with my clients. So straight away, many of my clients can start to see results just by tweaking what they already have, or perhaps even just putting in place something which they've been thinking about but never actually took action on. So that's one of the first insights I would suggest today, which is thinking of boundaries in the same way you think of your fitness. It's something that is important. It's something that helps with your recovery. But like your fitness, it needs repetition. It needs consistency. It needs some training. Another insight as well that we can talk about today is, again, using the physical fitness metaphor. I personally love it. I enjoy working out. I like going to the gym. So this really appeals to me. So we talked about fitness boundaries. Now let's talk about your voice. Let's talk about voice. So let's think about voice as strength. So when some clients come to me, part of what they want to work on as well is their voice, their ability to speak up. So it could be in the workplace, but it could also be in other aspects of your life, maybe in your intimate relationship, maybe with your family members, maybe it's in the community and taking a stand for something. Speaking up isn't about being louder. It's about being aligned. When you hesitate to say what's true, when your voice shakes, it's usually not because you're weak. It's because you're overriding your own truth. If we think about it, where in your life are you making yourself smaller to keep the peace, to stay likable, to avoid friction or conflict? when I talk to my clients and they tell me they want to be able to speak up in the workplace, I sometimes ask them, what has you not? Their answers, some of you may find familiar, which is, well, I don't want to be seen as a troublemaker. I want my boss to like me. I don't want to lose my job. I've just joined the company. I don't want to be seen as difficult. So if you can relate to any of that, this could be an aspect that we could work on, we could strengthen for you to really see your voice as something of value, as a strength that you could strengthen, just like you would do your leg muscles in the gym on leg day. And so when you think about your voice, what would shift for you if you were to voice your truth? And what would happen if your voice and your truth got stronger than your fear? Because just like in the gym with Ryan, when you are strengthening your back muscles and your core muscles so that your body, it just has greater alignment, and that if you were to, let's say, trip up or fall, you could recover a lot faster. What if we trained the strength of your voice to be the same? If you find yourself in a difficult situation, what if you knew your voice was already strong because you've been training it? What if you had the ability to pick yourself up and speak your truth, no matter what environment you are in? So there's something to consider, to think about voice as strength, as a muscle that you can strengthen. And don't worry, we'll start small. Some of my clients are like, oh my God, is Louise going to make me do something super uncomfortable? I mean, I might. I am a coach. I'm your coach. It's probably what you pay me for. But we can also start small. We can also start in the lower risk situations. So here's an invitation, if you're listening, is to think about if you could say something in your life right now that you've been holding back on, what would you want to say? Who would it be to? How might you say it? And one of the things that I love when I work with my clients is that we often will role play, because language is important here. Some people come to me and they say, Louise, I really want to speak up, but I don't know how to say it so that I'm not hurting the other person or upsetting them, so that I'm communicating actually how I feel or what I need. And so language is key. So I'm known sometimes with some of my clients as being a bit of a wordsmith, because how you frame something can be so important in terms of how your message lands with the person you're talking to. So if you need any support in what language to use, even the tone, that is something I love working with my clients on. We role play everything from how to have a difficult conversation with your mother all the way through to how to ask your boss for something that may be a bit controversial, but could ultimately be good for the team and for the business. So we've talked a little bit about thinking of boundaries as fitness, thinking of your voice as strength. So let's talk a little bit about what gets in the way. I've already touched upon some of the things that my clients tell me gets in the way for them. But here are 3 things that I have found over the years of supporting my clients. These 3 things seem to be the most common things that block people from using their voice or setting their boundaries. If you're listening, see if you can relate to any of these. The first one, people pleasing. The habit of needing or wanting to be liked, sometimes at all costs or at great cost to you. The second one I find, unclear boundaries. A number of my clients, when we have coaching sessions and we work deeply on boundaries, I've heard some of them say to me, Louise, I thought I had boundaries, but I don't think I did. And sometimes my response is, oh, you had boundaries. Perhaps they just weren't clear, or perhaps they just weren't actually where you wanted them to be. Maybe you wanted them lying here and your previous boundary was over here. So sometimes unclear boundaries can be a thing. So saying yes, for example, when you actually mean no. So the first thing, people pleasing. Second thing, unclear boundaries. The third common thing that I find blocks people is fear of conflict, something we've touched upon already today. Mistaking discomfort for danger. I think a lot of times in our mind, we can be so fearful of conflict because we think it will be an absolute disaster. We think all hell is going to break loose. We think the relationship will be broken beyond repair. We think we're going to get fired. Our brain sometimes catastrophizes what conflict could possibly be. But one of the things I often talk to my client about is, what if conflict was not necessarily a bad thing? What if discomfort wasn't something to avoid? If you've worked with Ryan, if you work out at all, you will know that discomfort leads to growth. You can't build those muscles. You can't train your fitness, your stamina, your strength, your mobility, unless you feel uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable all the time in the gym, but not just in the gym. One of the things I'm training myself is to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable in other areas of my life, not just the gym. And that's what I help clients to do, is to get used to that idea of feeling that discomfort so that they can actually work through it just like you would do at the gym. So these things, people pleasing, unclear boundaries, fear of conflict, they're not personality flaws. We all have them to a certain degree. They're just learned strategies. That's all. They're learned strategies we learned when we were young to keep us safe. And so because they are learned, we can unlearn them. And the only difference between me and you that are listening is that I've just spent a bit more time unlearning them. I work with my own coaches every week, unlearning them. And it's something I'll be doing for the rest of my life. And I love that. I love that training. So it's kind of like leg day at the gym. The workout will be uncomfortable. Who are we kidding? But it's where the real growth happens. So I'm here to tell you that you don't need to become someone else to lead successfully, to speak up, or to set better boundaries. You just need to strengthen your inner core. So many times I've been to personal trainers and they're like, Louise, we need to start with strengthening your inner core. And I'm like, okay. So it's the same here. When I coach my clients, we start to strengthen your inner core. We figure out what it is about your core that needs to be strengthened, and we start to strengthen it. Because once you have that stability here, once you have that strong back, soft front, then you have a clear voice. Then you have clearer boundaries. Because when I work with my clients, what happens is, when you live in alignment with your values, when your needs are met, what happens is that your boundaries get stronger and your standards go up. So you can see how the quality of your life increases as a result. It's inevitable. So imagine bringing the same intentionality to your voice and your boundaries that you do to your training, that you do to your physical health. What might change if you were to do that in how you work, in how you live, in how you love? So if any of this resonated to you as you are listening, if you are noticing any friction in how you show up that you want to ease, I'm all about creating more ease in your life. I'm all about reducing stress in your life. And I'm actually really happy to offer a special gift just to the participants of this summit. I don't offer this to anyone else. Don't tell anyone else. So what I'm happy to offer are, for 10 people only, because my calendar is pretty full, 10 people only, I will offer a complimentary 30-minute clarity call. And again, it's just for summit participants. Now, if you go to my website, which is louiselee.com, you will see that I offer a standard complimentary coaching session, which is about 60 minutes. How is this 30-minute clarity call different to a 60-minute complimentary coaching session? Well, the complimentary coaching session is if you are interested in partnering with me as a coach. We dive a little bit deeper. We talk a little bit about what it might be like to partner together. We talk about the housekeeping aspects. We talk about all the things that might be going on that you may want to bring to a coaching partnership. So it's a little bit different. It's a 60-minute session. We kind of talk about what our partnership might look like. But what I would love to offer your participants, Ryan, is something different. It is complimentary, but it's going to be 30 minutes and it's specifically a clarity call. We're going to tackle one challenge head on. So if you're listening and you want to book this, your only job, bring a challenge. It could be around boundaries. Maybe it's around your voice. Maybe it's around something that we've touched upon here today, people pleasing, or maybe fear of conflict. Bring that one challenge. We will tackle it head on. We will uncover what's underneath for you, and we'll get you moving again. 30 minutes, top to bottom. Complimentaries on me. All I need is 30 minutes of your time. That's it. It's not a sales call. It's a reset. If you did want to work together afterwards, we can, but we don't even need to talk about that on this 30-minute clarity call. That's the difference. And so Ryan has the link to book that straight into my calendar. And I'm going to put a deadline on it because I know that if you're listening, you are prone to action. I can just tell. So here it is. The limitations are either 10 people or the deadline is October 31st. End of the month, Halloween. Let's do it. So whichever happens first, either I hit 10 first or we hit October 31st. After that, this calendar will disappear. This link will go away. So if you're interested in actually taking action, in moving forward on some of the things that you've heard today, go and book a session. 30 minutes, that's all we need. That's all we need. So spots are limited and booking will close October 31st or once they're gone. So if you're ready, I would love to support you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us at this summit that Ryan is so wonderfully organized. And if you don't know Ryan, he's so wonderful. He's so warm and enthusiastic. It makes me want to get back into the gym. So take care of yourself, not just your body, but also your boundaries and your voice too. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That is, when you're speaking, like the journey of the issues that you talk with your clients, I was picturing myself like, I have to go through that. I need that. And tying into fitness, oh, it's perfect. We're the perfect combo. It's like having it's like a wine tasting. Well, I don't drink, but it's like I can assume it's like wine tasting. You want to pair it with this, but no, amazing stuff. And just to highlight once again, award-winning coach, recognized one of the top 15 in Vancouver. That this little brief intro and what she just shared with us is top tier. I love it, absolutely love it. Definitely take advantage for your future self to use that 30 minutes because just from listening here on for her to speak to us, I can feel the change. I can feel lighter. And knowing that once I do work with her or even work with myself on the tips that she just shared, I can improve my life, and having those boundaries. And when she was sharing about the boundaries, and recently, I had to get rid of toxic people in my life and kind of step away from them. And it was kind of hard because we're friends, yes, but I have to think of my future self and to make sure that I stay aligned with my values and the person I want to become, that father I want to become. I can't have those type of people in my life. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for all the information you've given and also your gift as well too. This is amazing. Yay.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, for sure. Now, also too, now making sure that we have the contact information. I will have her links as well too. And just know that once I hit end, we are off to our day. So thank you so much. And yeah, look up for her links.